Welcome to That American Football Show, powered by EP Sports. EP Sports is one of the top suppliers in the UK for all your NFL merchandise. Check them out at epsports.co.uk. The first ELF season is over and done with, finished with what was a rather fantastic game in Dusseldorf. I don't know about you boys, but the whole spectacle I thought looked fantastic. I thought the stadium was top notch. The fans sounded loud, and well, as I mentioned earlier, the game did not disappoint, did it, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely. 22,000 people. There were 530,000 people who watched it on TV. The figure's probably higher than that because that's just going to be legal watches and Game Pass. I'm thinking the number of people who watched it with VPNs is probably a lot higher than that. So, yeah, got the final they deserved. It was a superb game and it was well won. I think all the players played to their best, especially the two quarterbacks. It was the best I've seen Jadrick Clark play all season, and I'll be honest, I think the Sea Devils were unlucky not to win it.
I've got to agree. I thought the Sea Devils, for me, I personally was expecting a bit of a blowout, if I'm going to be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah,
and it was not that at all. The Sea Devils almost seemed in control the whole game. It
yeah.
could even say the whole game. At the end, they even seemed in control when they lost. It was just a few big moments that kind of turned the game away.
Yeah, it reminded me of this is a long road to get to a short point. It reminded me when the Seahawks lost to the Patriots. And I say
Mm.
that the Seahawks actually lost that game because when you think about it, like, oh, the Patriots won, didn't they? But you remember the Seahawks losing it rather than you look back. When I look back at the stats, and I look back at Jacob Sullivan threw 4 touchdown passes. So, did he? And you think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he
Mm.
did. So they did deserve to win it. To be fair.
Yeah, I thought he was brilliant, Sullivan. He's gone very under the radar. Weirdly,
Mm.
even though he's played for the best team, you look at that Galaxy defense and various other big game players they had. But yeah, Sullivan's been class, and he
Mm-hmm.
really showed it. He was great on his legs, I thought, as well. He
Yeah.
really shone in that kind of manner. But you mentioned Jadrian as well. I mean, he was the first ELF ball that we had on the show.
Yep.
And even he'll admit he struggled this season, but when his team desperately need him, he showed up and he was brilliant.
So his stat line, he was 25-39, 351 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, which wasn't his fault, it was a tip ball.
Mm.
And he also ran for 2 touchdowns as well. That's a big performance.
Yeah, he did well as well because one of those got am I right to believe one of those got called back? Been watching a
Mm.
lot of yeah, one of them did get called back. So he technically went in 3 times, but he was pumped as well. He
Yeah.
was he was given his own version of the Gronk spike a couple of times, which I quite enjoyed to see. But yeah, as we say, Sea Devils were in control, 10 points up with 5 minutes to go. And when you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at that, you're thinking, damn, like Hamburg, they beat the Galaxy in the very first week. And were they going to sandwich those two Frankfurt losses together? But they didn't manage to.
Yeah. So it's like 2 touchdowns within the last 6 minutes for Frankfurt. And another thing I noticed on the commentary, and I could work this out in German, is Frankfurt did not have a kicker, basically. They had the guy who did the kickoffs, but they didn't attempt a single extra point, and they didn't even attempt a field goal. They just went for it when they needed to. So I'll be thinking they're probably going to be looking for a kicker next season.
Yeah, 100%. And the good thing is the league's been such a success. You're going to see good kickers hopefully
Yeah.
coming over from wherever they are, which would be nice. There was, even though the game was fantastic, it was a brilliant spectacle together. There was one call that a lot of people have been talking about, which essentially handed the Galaxy the game. I don't want to say that was it on the fourth down, Tim? I can't remember if it was a third or a
I
fourth. I know
actually
it was.
remember. I think it might have been a second or third, actually.
Hmm.
So I've not written down fourth. But yeah, so basically, Hamburg were leading 26-30. There was 1 minute, 3 seconds left. Frankfurt were at the 49-yard line. So Sullivan threw a pass to Regler, who took a vicious but totally legal hit from number 25 at the 26-yard line. So it was flagged for unnecessary roughness, and that set Frankfurt up at the 15-yard line. So you can't say they did decide the game because they could have got
Yeah,
that yardage on the next play, but it certainly didn't help. And if I was a Sea Devil, it's quite disheartening when you see that penalty, especially they had instant replay in that game.
Mm,
So, and no matter what angle you looked at from the TV coverage, it didn't rise up with his helmet and hit him helmet to helmet. It was just, he hit him too hard. That's the only thing I can see that he was flagged for.
yeah, it is one of those. You say it's just the way the player was afterwards is sort of what entailed it. You know, if he had got up and walked off, which is very unlikely from a hit like that, but if he did that, then I don't think that flag would have happened. Another talking point as well was, I mean, he's been fantastic all season, Anderson. He obviously that last field goal to try and win it, that was a big old kick, 60 odd yards.
Yeah.
But there was the one just before that he missed, and it's an absolute killer for a player that's been brilliant all year to miss something like that. You can't knock him because he's saved many times.
He's won so many games for Hamburg this season and kept them in. There was some times where Hamburg's offense wasn't doing that well, and he was the Hamburg offense. So you can't criticize the guy. It was a long kick he missed, but you just got so used to him hitting kicks.
Yeah, it's a shame. And as you say, that last kick was close. It wasn't, to be honest, watching it, I thought that it might just sneak over if he goes old Justin Tucker mode. But he didn't, unfortunately, for the Sea Devils. But no, it was great. It was good to see our boy Justin Rogers as well having a great game. He had a nice return as well. So it was nice to see him get his big moment. And of course, congrats to the Galaxy and, you know, everyone that we've had on, you know, Cadell, Coach K, Gauthier. There's been some... They've been a fantastic team all year. If you look over the whole season, they completely deserve it. So, yeah, congratulations to the Galaxy for being the first ELF champions. And let's see how they defend it next year. Talking about next year, Craig, we've had a few teams be announced. Well, you know, we don't know how many are going to come in. However, there have been 3 that have been announced, which are is it the Rhine Fire? Is that how you pronounce it? The Rhine Fire, the Vienna Vikings, which I think is quite cool, and the Swarco Tiroli Raiders. First of all, my first thought is cracking nicknames.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm wondering who the 4th's going to be. I think we have some strong ideas of who we think it might be, but they've all proven to be very solid teams in the divisions that they're in. Particularly the Raiders, you know, they're quite well known throughout Europe. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of impact they have straight away coming in.
Tim, they're going to be your team. I'm guessing you can't.
I've known about the Sparker Raiders for a long time because they've historically had a link with the Raiders, obviously sharing the name. I think the Raiders helped them out with kit in the past and stuff. So sorry, Sea Devils, I may be moving next season. I think the Rhine Fire was one of the original NFL Europe teams, and they're actually based in Dusseldorf. So that's why they made a big fuss about announcing it in Dusseldorf. And I don't know whether they were planted there, but it was superb that there were loads of people wearing Rhine Fire gear with a big Rhine Fire flag at the game. They've got to put at least another 1 team in because it's an odd number at the moment. And they confirmed London before the season started. So that's 1. There was a leak when the Rhine Fire were announced. They actually posted a picture of all the new teams on Instagram, which quickly got deleted. And that included London. I believe my French geography isn't that good because it was just dots on the map. It looked like it would have been Paris. It looked like it would have been Amsterdam. So I think they announced 3 at the final. They've got the All-Star game this weekend. So maybe they're going to announce 3 there.
Yeah, you would hope so, as you say, we're missing 1, but we thought originally it was going to be 4, but now with that leak, it does look like it might be 6. And Paris has always been a name as well. London, as we say, we know that is going to be a team. Paris, it does make a lot of sense and it would be nice. I think as well, it is good for us to get London, Amsterdam, and Paris. In a selfish way for us, those are 3 teams closer to us that. You know, we can just. I mean, personally, for me, I can drive to London. You guys can travel down, but once you're in London, you can just get the Eurostar over. It's a very simple sort of thing. So it's good for the kind of like the northwest of Europe to get a few more teams in. But I think it's going to be great. I think next season it's only going to go from strength to strength. They had a lot of hurdles to get over this year, and I feel every hurdle that they got, they cleared easily. And yeah, it was a fantastic season.
I think we're going to see a lot of players moving though, because I know I've spoke to one player, I won't name this week, that has played in. It's really hard to put this. Has played in the country with another one of the new teams and said they would like to go back to that country because they love living there. So, and Madrid London's just signed a new contract, so he's staying in Cologne. But as far as contracts are aware, the only other player I know that's staying put is Berton at Leipzig. So is everyone else a free agent? Are we going to see a lot of players? If there's a new London team, a lot of the English players going to move over there. So
stay the same with Paris as
Banks,
well.
Cadell. Yeah, because how many times they mentioned good French players? Every person we've had on interviewed in the Taps Meet series has always said, gone on about how good the French players are. The Austrian ones are fully stacked, I think, because they're considered the two best teams in Europe. So, it's going to be interesting to see where players go.
But even then, some of them teams still do have some imports on them. So it'll be interesting to see not only if guys scatter and move about and go back to their home countries, etc., but to see how the import rules change, if they do change at all.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Hopefully you kind of want it. I understand why they have it quite harsh, but I personally like the sort of more flexible look. I think each player should have a chance to be able to live and play in these different countries and not just be sort of confined to their own country that they've lived in for the last 25 years. So, but you're right. I think a lot of these teams are going to come in, and you're right about, the Austrian ones are going to be cracking. It'd be interesting to see how London do. I personally don't have a clue how they will fare. But yeah, and Paris could be a team that just jumps straight in and get going. It'll be, some of the, I'm not going to use the word smaller, but some of the teams that did lesser well from Germany this year, they could struggle unless they do bring in these big players that may hopefully want to come to the league. Because I know a few of the boys who played this year have just sort of got small contracts around different European. Is it Romania where a few of the boys have gone to play?
Yeah, Aaron, the quote, I forget his second name.
Ellis,
thank you. Of Stuttgart, he's gone to play Romania. Alpha Jallo's on the same team, and there was a running. I think it was Crawford from Berlin's playing.
Yeah, it was Bucharest, wasn't it, that they ended up playing for? Yeah. So, it looks like they want to hang around in Europe, which is great. If the big stars want to stay, then happy days, and we bring in some more. But yeah.
Wonder if they can attract some talent as well from the likes of the X League and stuff. I think my big concern is that they're not, if it is 6 teams, they're not growing too big too soon. Because obviously that's close to nearly doubling in size.
True.
It's a lot of teams to take on, I guess. It's luckily some of these teams are already, like you said, quite well established. But yeah, definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting, especially after this season.
Yeah, and there was, other news came out regarding the. Sorry if you can hear a motorbike going past. It's a very busy road at the moment. There's going to be a final. The final is going to be in a different country next year, which is very interesting that they're going to have it outside of Germany. I believe it was another country. It was definitely another location, but they said it's not too far from Germany. So that'd be interesting to see where they're going to hold that and sort of what stadia they could get for that too. But yeah, next year is going to be great. I think we all enjoyed this season. It went a lot better. If we're going to be honest, it went a lot better than we thought it would, which is excellent. And it's a great place to push on from. Another couple of things. We got the All-Star game on Sunday. And we've got the ELF Honours on the 1st of October, which is Friday. So two things to look forward to. The season isn't quite over and done with yet. Be a good couple of things to look forward to. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up, I believe, for this season. I don't know, unless anything sort of major comes out in the next week or so. That will probably be when we do our next ELF content. We haven't got anything planned right now, but as I say, anything big happens, we'll bring it to you. We'll make sure. Anything else you want to say, boys, before we sign off?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Like, we've had quite a lot of support from people who have tuned in and watched our interviews and our sort of review shows and stuff like that. So to those who have been watching and sticking with us and commenting and showing us a bit of love, thanks.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you as well to people like Chris Han at the ELF and Frank at the Leipzig Kings. and a couple of other people who've helped us out getting the interviews in place and helped us with a lot of information. So we couldn't have done all those interviews without them. So thanks, guys.
Thanks as well to the players who've taken their time to come and speak to us and stuff. And appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great season for everyone involved, and everyone's played their part, which has been nice. And hopefully this league will just keep growing and growing. But yeah, that's everything from us today. If you want to check us out on Twitter and Instagram, we're at TAFS_UK. We're also on Facebook, where we have our ELF Facebook group. So if you want to share anything regarding the league, go take a look there, which I believe, Craig, is it just called ELF Fans?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it. So ELF Fans, go check that out. Thanks again for listening. Remember, if you like our content and you want to stay in the loop with the ELF, make sure to give us a subscribe and a like. It's a horrible word, that. But yeah, that's everything today. Make sure to head over and check out our friends at EP Sports for any of your NFL or equipment needs. And we will see you next time.